Well, good afternoon. Hey, um, I was delighted this morning. We've been talking for the last week or so about how the left and the right need to stop all their normal rhetoric, hateful rhetoric towards one another, and fighting one another on things that they have no intentions of actually fixing. They're just looking for control and money and getting reelected and all of that. But I had the greatest surprise this morning. I turned on the news, and there were actually two Congress people, um, Republican and a Democrat, that were putting forth some a bipartisan legislation to deal with the funding for childcare. There was apparently during COVID, there was uh, uh, there was quite a bit of money that was put out there by the government to fund daycare centers, and that funding is about to run out. And this bipartisan group is actually looking for ways to um, continue the program, but also to look at ways to make it more economical for these daycare centers to stay open because there's a lot of issues with require every state has different requirements as far as the education that you're supposed to have to be able to work in a daycare center, um, or they have licensing, but there's no reciprocity between states. So if somebody moves, then they're not licensed to continue that line of work someplace else. And you know what? It was actually refreshing to hear these two representatives discuss the fact that there is common ground, there is interest in providing um, providing for our kids, providing a safe place where they can get some education. It allows the parents to work. There's a whole lot of great things that this program can do, and the fact that they want to work together on it, uh, it was just refreshing. You know, I mentioned, I think yesterday we were talking about giving grace and not getting caught up in the hate rhetoric, and it was so nice to listen to two representatives that weren't talking about how the other one's leaders needed to be put in prison or broke the law or need to be investigated or whatever. And they were actually working on something that was bipartisan. Um, I do, though, think it's only fair that as part of the praise for two representatives discussing something in a bipartisan way with the interest of helping kids and families, which I think we both can agree um, kids and families need all the support they can get. As part of Let's Discuss, I think there's also a part that I have to question, why does the government need to be getting involved in paying for this anyway? Why is it that a that a daycare center can't operate profitably without getting a government subsidy? Now, I understand uh, families that aren't making a lot of money, they don't have extra money to pay for daycare. And let's be honest, they have a lot less money to pay for daycare today than they did 2 years ago. So, I mean, I get it. Um, However, like with any other government program, it's so very rare that any government program ever goes away. And I bring this up for discussion, would love to get your feedback. Um, but something that starts off as a beautiful thing to help families and to help children, what does it turn into? Does it turn into um, another board of education uh, where things are done and rules and regulations are created by bureaucrats instead of by elected representatives? How much power would this new program have over our kids? And even though it might get started as a program to help families and to help kids, which I think we could all agree needs to be done, um, what happens in the future? Who's running it? And what's their agenda? That starts becoming something that I get concerned about. And so I would love to get everyone's feedback and thoughts on programs like this. I mean, they all start off well meaning, and they always start off by people that truly care. Um, or I would like to think that these people truly care about the kids and those that are in need, families that are struggling to get by. Um, and by the rhetoric of these two people, I kind of get the impression that yeah, they really do care. It's not about power and control. But like any other entity, once it's established and you put people in charge of it, that entity wants to grow, thrive, prosper, uh, gain more power, more control, and that's where we get ourselves in trouble. So I would love your feedback. Um, I would love to hear what you think about new government controls, even if those controls are proposed for very worthwhile causes. How do we, as the citizens of a free country, how do we influence or keep those programs from going astray? Um, Today, it's about helping the family and the kids. Tomorrow, it could be about indoctrination of our kids in a philosophy that you might not agree with or that I might not agree with. And that's not what the government should be there to do. Uh, Government, federal government especially, is not supposed to um, the first 10 amendments um, say that there shouldn't be an established religion by the state. Well, an established religion doesn't necessarily mean Methodist or Catholic or Judaism. It can be Marxism. It can be a lot of things that we don't necessarily relate with a church. It is still a doctrine. And we should discuss good programs that can go bad. What are some ideas about how we keep them from going bad? there's some thoughts to chew on, and I look forward to having discussions on them. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day, and God bless. Talk to you tomorrow.